So we've worked with this financial services company since 2007. And around 2019, I was privy to information that they were more than likely going to offset a specific line of their business and in talks of potentially getting acquired. With that being said, like getting approvals for net new full time headcount was tough, but that doesn't mean the work slowed down. It actually increased. So I partnered with several of their executives and middle management closest to the pain to figure out like what gaps are going to break us, what can be bridged, what needs to stay to keep the lights on and keep it stable day to day. From there, worked with them pretty closely to build like an interim talent plan in place just to keep operations going without creating disruption from having like a bandwidth issue. It brought to light a lot of challenges internally that they wouldn't necessarily uncovered had they not leveraged a firm like IDR to help bridge some of those gaps while they were in talks of getting acquired. The big one to me was we brought to light that a lot of their full-time staff was grossly underpaid. That's not to say the company was trying to shortchange anybody, but when you don't have anyone sharing real market intel and rates, then you don't look under the hood. So we brought to light just a lot of new market data that helped their full-time staff get to where they needed to be financially. But because IDR was able to provide so much information on what's happening in the market, it was easy for them to build like an internal business case to say, "Hey, we've got to change this." Up until we were brought on, it was we are on site 5 days a week, no ifs, ands, or buts. And what I quickly realized is this line of business that they were going to offset eventually, everyone in that building reported to a leader that was in a different state. Logically, that just doesn't make sense, right? I'm not saying, hey, everyone needs 100% remote work, but if there's not intention behind like being in the office, to me, that's where I like scratch my head and say, hey, let's do something about this. I was able to present a case where, instead of sourcing the nearest three zip codes and trying to find talent within those zip codes, we were able to select the top talent and create a remote workforce. And what's really cool about the ending of that story is eventually, it probably took about a solid year for them to realize, hey, we can do this. We can keep the lights on with people that are used to working remotely. But eventually that whole office shut down and not just IDR contractors were working remotely, but the full-time staff that were in that office previously too. And you can send out all the surveys you want, but their dry cleaning bill was a lot happier, their gas bill was a lot happier, and ultimately they loved that flexibility, which they didn't have previously. It's almost impossible to get a net new full-time position headcount approved when you're about to sell, right? Or get acquired. But that doesn't mean you're not going to have natural attrition, or people that go on leave, or there's gaps that are going to happen even if the acquisition's not happening 3+ years out. So that's where IDR was a strategic partner in filling those gaps, but also, uncovering some operational inefficiencies that there wasn't a dedicated resource to uncover those. So organically it happened as I was having those conversations with different leaders in departments saying, hey, have you thought about doing it this way? Or wow, when's the last time you looked at market data on what people are being paid with the skill sets? So it was the entire line of business. It was anyone from folks that would sit in their PMO. So think coordinators, project managers, lead program managers. It was all of IT. Think anything from infrastructure, security, app dev, anything that falls under the tech umbrella, to operations. So implementation folks, a lot of sales positions. It was the entire line of business. So you think of HR, accounting, finance, tech, anyone and everyone. Every department was affected. So there wasn't a skill set we didn't have a hand in at that time.